Teacher Kathy here. We're going to talk today about Outschool's new format. The title's going to say, Help, how do I navigate this? Or something like that. I'm going to come up with the title after I record this. But there's been a lot of messages on social media about this new Outschool one-on-one format. And I know I have some other videos that you can see on my YouTube site that where I complained about it and asked Outschool, but I have explored it a little bit. And so with taking these new formats and trying them out and creating classes, I figured out some things, and believe it or not, my schedule is booked. So I'm going to show you today how to navigate these changes to try to make it work for you while we're waiting on Outschool to figure out what they're going to do and if they're going to roll it back or whatever. I'm not saying that any of the things that problems that it's causing are justified, but this is it. So I'm going to show you that today. But before I do that, I know it's kind of a long intro. Don't forget to click on the subscribe and the like and the bell so you get notified when I get other videos. It really does help my channel. Okay, so let's jump into it. So if you are not aware of this, Outschool has reformatted their form of classes, and they've taken what seems to be the most popular right now in one-on-one tutoring classes and created a format that makes it easier for parents to schedule and see what times are available. Now, there's a few little quirks that need to be worked out that I think Outschool still needs to change that makes it easier for teachers and for parents, and maybe even it's been suggested by some on the Facebook groups to allow teachers to choose if they want to do it this way, not make it mandatory. That would be a good option, I think, because then those that want to try it can do it, and those that don't, that's okay. They can still do it the old way or keep it with their current students, but there's a lot of issues happening. So what my purpose of today's video is not to bash or cause a bunch of problems with Outschool, but to show you what I have figured out, because Outschool is being slow in the uptake to let us teachers know what's happening, and I'm going to share with you what I figured out. But if there's more that you guys have figured out, share it with me and let me know, so that way we can help support each other in this platform. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn on my screen share, and you're going to see my Outschool. So we're going to go into my classes, and I think I may have created one the other day, a test class. Let's scroll down to the bottom here and see. No, I got rid of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start at the beginning. We're going to create a test class. So as you can see, I've got a lot of one-on-ones on here. And what I have done is I've taken a lot of my classes that were already one-on-one or that weren't one-on-one and turned them into one-on-one and started creating the new format. My classes have not really migrated. I've seen an email with some of my archived classes, but I haven't really seen any others migrate. So I don't know a lot about those changes, but I do have created some new classes and checked on the format, and some of the classes that are created, editing them, there are some changes in there. So I'm going to show you those so you can kind of figure it out. So if we start from scratch and create a new class, let's start with the one-on-one format, okay? And I'm not going to publish this. I'm just going to call it test 2, okay? And we're going to click on next. Must be at least 10 characters. Test class 2. Okay, there we go. All right, that worked. Okay, so if you're going in here and you're creating it, so it still pops up this message up here, but they're migrating right now. So I decided instead of waiting for this migration to be complete, which for some reason my profile hasn't been one of the ones that has been migrated. So the stuff up at the top is still pretty much the same. Put in your description, your introductory sentences, and then choose your subject. Most of mine are language arts, so we'll go ahead and just choose English. And what I've done is I've copied and pasted what I have in my other classes. Instead of typing up new, like my reading classes, I've just copied and pasted what I have, because then I don't have to retype all of this. So you can do that. Add your image, your videos. Okay, now this is where some of the changes have happened. So your age range, which most of mine are kindergarten up to 8th grade. So I'm just going to do 5, 6, 7. Okay, I like to collect flexible because that's the way I am. The new changes are you can choose grade levels. It will automatically choose grade levels if you don't. I've noticed that change in some of my classes. I have not been choosing the proficiency level, but that option is there. And then for the one-on-one, it only gives you the option to choose the time. Okay, because what you do is you end up setting up your availability, and parents can book as many or as few classes as they want. And I'll show you that in the next step. So most of mine are 45 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. All right, so then the rest of this is pretty standard. This is new. Suggested meeting frequency. How many times per week should this meet? Once a time or multiple times? Please inform the family of your recommendation. Okay, so that is new. I did not see that when I created it before. Most of mine are one time a week, but obviously you have the option there to do multiple times a week. All of this is the same. I would copy and paste all that. All of this is the same. All of this is the same. You still got to add those external materials. There's the welcome post. Now this is where we get to the pricing. So they're suggesting 55 to 60 per hour. Now I put up here at the top, I marked 45 minutes, right? Yes, I did. Okay. So I'm going to show you what I did is I tried out putting in that 30, but what happens is when I put this in, it says a minimum rate of $23 is required for 45-minute sessions. So I went ahead and went with that. It says we have set the minimum rate of $30 per US for math and English. And because I marked English, because that's what I mostly teach, that's what it's doing. So I'm going to go ahead and I just went with mine. I just put that minimum because that's what I want to do. You can set yours for whatever you want. And then you can hit request listing, okay, when you're ready. But the next phase is I'm going to hit save draft because I don't want to request this class because I obviously didn't finish it all. But what I do want to show you is next is the update availability. So when you create a class like this, what happens is instead of putting how often you want it, like multi-day or ongoing and that kind of stuff like they had before, you're going to use this availability. Now, this is where it gets interesting because there's some good things about it and some bad things about it. All right? So what you end up with is you end up with this calendar at the top. So if you scroll down, and if we go to September, you'll see there's more open, obviously, because we're at the end of August. You can set how many days before. I just did one. You can set this to a max of 90, which I went ahead and did, but you can change that to whatever you want. And then you can set this to have a buffer between your meetings. Now, one of the things I want to point out before I go into how to add the hours that you're available in there is that first off, this is not linked to your availability in your profile. Let me show you that real quick. Let's go here. Open this in a new tab. Okay, so in your profile, down here, it has a spot. Where is that availability spot in your profile? English, time zone. Okay, it's not under there. I missed the spot where it was. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. It's under this drop down right here. That's where we do it. Availability, which shows up in your profile. This availability is not set to sync with the new one-on-one classes. It's not the same. It's a totally different availability. And this is one of my problems with this is I wish that they would link it to this, but they didn't. And I wish they would set it up like this where it was easy, where you just go in here and you set your schedule with these drop downs. You set your buffer. You add any exceptions for times you're going to be out of town, which I have some vacations coming up. And then you can also do it per class if you want, but I've never done that part. Okay, so that's where the availability normally is. This is totally different. This is individual for each individual one-on-one class you're creating. So for me, I have reading classes that are K to 8, well, first to 8. I had to do this for each one of those classes that I created for each level, which is a pain in the butt, but I did it. So that's my biggest problem here is that they are saying the start times are in increments of 15 minutes, which troubles me because when we set the availability, it only lets you do it in the half hour. I wish they would change this to be a drop down or something and give us the option because there's a little bit of a conflict there. But so what you do is you click on the date that you want to add it, and there's two ways to add it. The first one is edit all Tuesdays, and then you can, this is going to do every Tuesday, past and present, okay? And let me move this up so you can see this. There you go. So then we're going to add time. So you can pick a time. So for me, my schedule has changed to where I'm teaching from 1 to 7 p.m., okay? And you can add multiple ones. Like if I wanted a morning one, I could do 9 to 11, okay? You hit add and hit save, and there you go. You can see it's added it to every Tuesday. Well, that's kind of annoying because what if you got to take that Tuesday off? Well, let's do one more. We'll do Wednesdays, and we'll do 9 to 1 just for the sake of it, just because I don't want to have to deal with it. And let's say I'm going to be gone this Wednesday, the 30th. I can hit edit date, hit remove. Now the downfall is this doesn't let you go out very far in the calendar, which is kind of a bummer. It only lets you go out by like a week. And hit save, and then it blocks that one out. But you have to do that for each individual one. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to go in and set this for your time range that you want it to be for every day, and then it should add it for each day of the week. And then when you go to the next month, it'll show. So let me show you one of my classes that I have listed like this and how it works. Let's just go to my reading classes because those seem to be the most popular right now that most students are booking. And we'll just go in here, and if we go in update availability, you can see here I have 1 to 7 marked on all of these. And if I look at September, it's the same here. But I'm going to be gone the 21st through the 30th. I don't teach on the weekends. So you can see here that it is showing you that I've marked off these dates. And then again in October, I've marked off some dates I won't be here, but otherwise it says 1 to 7 for all of them. I have it set for 90 days and 10 minutes, but the downfall is this. So see, the problem is that what we're running into, if we go back to this one, and we want to add some times, is it only lets you add times to every half hour. See this? Oh, it's not showing up on the video. It's showing you to it. It's showing you only hour and half hour. It's not showing you in 15-minute increments. But down here at the bottom, it says start times are in 15-minute increments. That's so annoying. So the last feature I want to show you is this one here. Let me adjust this a little bit because it's not showing you. Okay, there we go. So it's a create, well, we need to move it up just a little bit more. There we go. Create a private link. So you can do this, where if you create a private time for a parent, now you have to do this for just one time. Okay, so let's do the 5th at 12, and you hit add meeting. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give you a share. Now this is only available for 3 days for the parents to, let me fix this here. Come back over here so you can see. It's going to give you that share and that delete. So what this is going to do is this is only available for 3 days for the parents, and then it goes back to public, okay? It is not available for them after that, and then they have to add it. So now let me show you what it looks like when someone books. So let's go into this. I guess I should have just clicked on the class. Hold on a sec. We're going to click on the class. Okay. So if I'm going to move this around here so you guys can see this better. All right. And I'm going to shrink that back in. Sorry, I'm adjusting this a little bit here. There we go. Okay, so you can see here I've got a lot of students booked here, and then there's some requests for times, okay, from parents asking because it's booked me out. Now, if I click on View Class Listing, this is what it looks like from the parent side, okay? It's normal. It looks the same, right? But we're going to click on Check Availability. It pops up kind of like Canly, if you know how Canly works. Okay, and it gives you times on certain dates. Now you can see I'm mostly booked for September, ironically, but there's a little bit more available for October, okay? So, and then parents can click on it to book it, and they can hit select, and then they can click on when they're going to cancel, whenever they cancel, so it'll go every week, meets once a week, blah, 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 so on and so forth. They'll be charged weekly. Hit next. Dates you are booking, so it's giving you all the dates that you're booking, okay? And you can evidently mark some of these out. And then the teacher's unavailable on these dates, the ones that are marked out, so it's not letting you pick the ones that are booked out. And then it goes into charging you, and so on and so forth, okay? All right, so I'm going to close that. So that's how that works. So for the most part, it works, okay, and it books. But the downfall is that once you go in here and you have students enrolled, it shows you. If you go on meetings, it shows you all the meetings that they have. Now, if you add just one, then they can book the rest of the times. You can add a meeting for them to book, and then they have 3 days to accept. But then if they accept them all at once, it charges them. But if they want to build weekly, they have to add it themselves. So that's the downfall. The downfall is that it's in 15-minute increments, and that makes it a little difficult because they can book every 15 minutes, and for me, like 45-minute classes, if they book at 6:15 till 7, then I can't, with my 10-minute buffer that I need between classes, I can't have anybody book at the hour. So I would prefer to have a little bit more control over that. But there you go. So I've shown you what I know and how it works. I hope that helps. If there's something else that you've learned about it, I'd love for you to share that with me. And if not, that's okay. I'm trying to be supportive and trying to help and make it work until hopefully Outschool, if you're watching this, you guys will fix those little quirks like the 15-minute increments and maybe also the changing all the one-on-one classes over migrating into this. That's what else I was going to show you guys. We need to look at that. So when I look at my classes, when we do a group class instead, they have changed that. Okay, group test class. Next. I know this video is kind of long. So all of this is the same. Okay, subject, English, that's the same. So they want you to select the age range. Okay, so that's good. That's all the same. Grade levels are the same. Now it's giving you an option kind of like the multi-day. Okay, which is kind of frustrating because it's not exactly workable. So let's say 1 time per week, mine are 45 minutes. And you can do no end date, which content does not build or content builds, or you can pick how many weeks, okay? And then down here, that's all the same. That's all the same. That's all the same. And then you can change this. And this changes down here, the price per whatever you select. Like if you pick multiple weeks, like if I click 4 weeks, it gives us the option to do the weekly payment. So they've kind of combined the ongoing with the multi-day, depending on what you pick. Okay? All right, so I hope that helps. So ongoing is not gone. It's just in a different place in a different way. I hope that helps. If you have questions or you have other things you've learned, please share below. And don't forget to click on that like and that subscribe button and that bell so you get notified when I have other videos. I hope this was helpful. All right. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.